This week we're going to be looking at vocabulary words for our Knowledge of Words Part 2 vocabulary list. Term number 1 this week is going to be benevolent. This week we're going to be looking at the words a little bit more in depth, including their roots, as that helps us with the knowledge of words, PFA, that we'll be taking in my classes. The word root ben or bene, ben or bene, means good or well. So when you see that at the beginning of a word, or you see that as part of a word, you're going to know that it has something to do with it being good or helpful to someone. Some other words to help you out with that, such as benefit, benediction, and benefactor, but our term is benevolent, which means kind. Term number 2 is going to be biology. Biology is a word that you're probably familiar with from education at some point. The root bio or bio means life. So when you see that as part of a word, you can know that it's going to have something to do with life in some sense. Biology is the science of life. Other words like biography would be a written account of someone's life, with an autobiography being a written account of someone's life written by that own person. Biochemistry would be the chemistry of living matter. But you need to know biology for today, that it is the science of life. Term number 3 is going to be democracy. Democracy is a word that you're probably familiar with. Dem is the root, dem meaning from the Greek, people. If you see dem at the beginning or as part of a word, it's going to have something to do with people. Democracy is our word for this term. It is government by the people. The people are in control. They make decisions through voting and electing people to represent their interests. You have Democrat as part of this, democratic, demagogue. You can read through those definitions and note that they all have to do with people in some aspect, but ours for this one is democracy, government by the people. Term number 4 is going to be predict. To predict something is to have a guess as to what will happen. It comes from the root word dic or dict, meaning from Latin to say or declare something. So, for example, a dictionary says the definitions of different words, but to predict something is to say what is going to happen. If you dictate something, you say the words for somebody else to write. You are saying it. You are dictating those things. And if you're predicting, you're saying what you think is going to happen in the future. Term number 5 is going to be autograph. If you get an autograph from a famous person, it may be worth something. An autograph is a person's written signature. It's a piece of themselves. It's something personal from them. The word root for that is graph. And in this case, unlike a graph you may create in a math class, this would come from the Greek and it means writing. If you see graph as part of a word, it's going to have something to do with writing or putting something down on paper. For example, graffiti. Graffiti would just be writing or tagging a wall with art or words, whereas an autograph would be a person's written signature. Our next term this week, number 6, is going to be manual. Something that is done manually is done by hand, such as writing or doing some kind of hard manual labor would be getting it done manually. The word root you have there is man, M-A-N, and from the Latin that means hand. So if you see M-A-N as part of a word, you can know that it's going to have something to do with it probably being done by hand or carried out by a person's own hands. For example, you may go get a manicure and that's where somebody cares for your hands. A maneuver would be moving something around your own way, and manual would be doing something by your own hands manually. Next term is going to be number 7, to import. You may have studied this one in a social studies class. To import something is to bring something into one's country, whereas to export something is to send it away. The word root, P-O-R-T, means to carry, such as you may see that in portable. Something that is easy to carry is something that is portable, or transportation is a method of carrying people from one place to another. Import is to bring something into one's country, whereas export is to bring something from one's country to another one, or to transport it to another country. Moving right along to our next term, number 8, is cacophony. Probably one of the more difficult words this week. Cacophony is a word that means a harsh, unpleasant sound. A cacophony of noise would probably drive you crazy and make you grind your teeth a little bit, whereas a symphony would be a group of instruments playing together and probably creating something a little bit more beautiful. The word root you have there is PHON, which you probably can recognize from phone, which just has the E added onto it. And that means it's going to have something to do with voice or sound if you see that PHON in a word, like telephone or symphony or homophones or cacophony. Our 9th term this week is going to be prescription. If you go to a pharmacy regularly, you're probably going there to pick up a prescription, which is a written order by a doctor, usually for some type of medication that you have been prescribed. The word root there is scrib or script, SCRIB or SCRIPT, and that means something that is written or wrote for you. You can see scrib in words like scribble, which is just to kind of write something carelessly on a paper or to draw something, or scripture, which would be holy writings from something like the Bible. A scribe would be someone whose job is literally to write things down. And if something is indescribable, it's not able to be written about or explained to somebody very easily. Prescription would be a written order by a doctor. And term number 10 is spectator. You have been a spectator to this video as you've been watching it, you've been seeing it or looking at the words as they come up or as you go to them in the video. The word root there is spect, S-P-E-C-T, and if you see that, then whatever word it's going to be and is probably going to have to do with looking at something or seeing it being done, such as a spectator who watches an event. If you go watch a basketball game, you are a spectator for that event. If you respect someone, you see them in a positive way. And if someone is a suspect for a crime, people see them as somebody who you shouldn't trust or somebody who may have done the crime, done something suspicious. There are 10 words and definitions for this week. Pay special attention as you go back through that to the word roots, as that will help you with any of your future assignments and with any future vocabulary words that have those roots as a part of them. Thanks for watching.